Okay.
I can start?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first neuromarketing event. I'm Angeliki Papakonstantinou. I'm the head of the Business Administration and Economics Department at City College, Europe campus of the University of York. Before we start, I would like to thank everyone who registered for this event. Special thanks to all our distinguished participants for their time and their contribution, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to listen to exciting insights with regards to neuromarketing. Obviously, this event would have never occurred without the initiative, without the support, and may I say here, without the craziness of Nikos Dimitriadis. Nikos is the program lead of our MSc in Neuromarketing, which started just this academic year. Obviously, having more than 500 people registered for this event gives us confidence that we are in the right direction, and people are getting more and more interested, basically, in exploring the field of neuromarketing. Many thanks to many people who have worked behind the scenes in order to make this happen. I do not want to take more of your time. Obviously, the things that we're going to discuss today are going to be of huge interest. So I suggest we start and enjoy this event. Nico, thank you, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Angeliki. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Nikolaos Dimitriadis. I am the program lead of our MSc in Neuromarketing here at City College, the Europe campus of the University of York. And also I'm a professor of practice at the University of York. This MSc has been a dream of mine for many years, and I'm very happy that we launched the very first MSc in Neuromarketing in Southeast Europe, and one of the very few still in Europe. So I would like also to thank all of you for being here today. Really, the high number and the diversity of the people that registered made us even more excited about this event than when we were building and preparing this event. So today we are talking about neuromarketing, which is where marketing and branding meet the science of the human brain, of decision making, and of human behavior. It's really a very exciting field. I wouldn't say new now, it has been almost 20 years, even a little bit more that neuromarketing is around, but absolutely more and more people, more and more brands, more and more companies are familiarizing themselves with neuromarketing and try it in order to produce, to create actionable insights. We have a fantastic group of people to talk to you about neuromarketing, marketing research, customer insight, and the future of research in branding and marketing. So I don't want to take any more time from them. I would just like to thank from my side the institutions that support us today, which is the Neuromarketing Business and Science and Business Association, the NMSBA, also INEM, the Italian Neuromarketing Association, Optimal HR Group, and the Marketing Club of Greece. So thank you for supporting us. And I would like to invite our first guest for the first official welcoming for the day, which is Haris Lalatsis. Haris is a board member of the Marketing Club of Greece. He's responsible for the educational part, and thus he's here today in an event by a university. And he's also the founder of Hierax Analytics. So he will talk to us today both from his role as a board member of the Marketing Club, but as a very experienced and very professional marketing researcher. Harry.
Thank you, Nikos, for this incredible introduction. Good evening, everyone. I need to say first that I'm honored to be here and especially kicking off this great event, not only because neuromarketing is such an interesting sector and one very close to my business, but also because I'm among excellent researchers. My name is Haris Elalatzis, and I'm here as Chief of Education and Research at Marketing Club Greece, a unique organization which aims to create a bridge between companies and the science of marketing as a continuous practice. A place not only for marketeers, but for all business executives. We try to be a place where people from different business backgrounds can come together and help each other. We believe in unity, and that is why our motto is "Together we are stronger." Marketing Club Greece has been active for more than 10 years, and during these times we had the honor to host great events on various topics, and even participate in a neuromarketing study with Dr. Dimitriadis, who has also honored us with an amazing speech in the past. I'm also the founder of Erax Analytics, a boutique market research agency with offices in Athens and Thessaloniki. We work along with FMCG companies in trying to understand consumers and offer valuable insights and analytics. We specialize mostly in the food and beverage sector, which is one of the strongest in Greece. And this is why I'm so excited for today's event, as for me, it completes ideally a 360 market research effort, which I feel is necessary in today's extremely challenging environment. We were always fascinated by consumers' decision-making process, as it is a main issue that can make or break a company. More than so today, when we not only have to face incredible competition, but also such strong external forces, from the pandemic to economic struggles to energy costs. But how easy is it to understand the way people make decisions and try to affect it to our favor? What do consumers like and dislike? And what are the criteria through which they select brands? These questions are so important for every company. As market researchers, we like to be in constant communication with consumers, creating samples, questionnaires, and trying all types of analytics to find patterns and algorithms that can understand and predict the behavior. But we must always remember that there is a conscious and the unconscious in every decision. Our minds are incredible machines that operate in amazing ways and without us knowing about it. And I think there is a joke about that our brain knows exactly where all our internal organs are in the body, but it doesn't tell us. My mind knows where my spleen is, but I do not know. It keeps us functioning and regulates millions of mini decisions without troubling us about it. So there are so many secrets that our mind keeps from us, not because it serves it, but because it needs to do that in order to keep us going and because we cannot really handle all this information. So studying the human brain and how it reacts to neuromarketing is a process so important and valuable in market research and in understanding better our consumers, because we need to move towards micromanaging and micro-handling all our ads and promotional material. There is little room for error, so even the color we thought looked great for our website maybe creates a negative emotions to users, and that is why they leave the rebasket and log off without making a purchase. Gone are the days where decisions were going from top to bottom. Now it is a consumer who actually dictates the strategy, and he or she can change their mind very fast. In a world of so much information and fast content, we cannot really afford to stay behind. We need all the tools at our disposal to better understand consumer decision-making, and thus neuromarketing needs to be within our armory at all times. But you're not here to listen to me, so thank you again for having me here, and I really cannot wait to see the latest development in this cutting field.
Gary, thank you so much. We could listen to you for much longer, be sure about this, and maybe in a future event. So thank you very much, Marketing Club. Thank you very much, Harry and Erax Analytics for welcoming our guests and our audience. Now, the next welcoming speech is from Carla Nagel. Carla is the Executive Director of the Neuromarketing Science and Business Association, the very well globally known NMSBA. Unfortunately, Carla had a recent accident, and she did not recover enough in order to be live with us today. However, she was kind enough, and we really, really appreciate her effort. to record a short video with her welcoming speech, which we will watch now together. So give me 1 second and I will play the short welcoming from Carla.
Good afternoon. My name is Carla Nagel and I'm the head of the Neuromarketing Science and Business Association. I would like to welcome you to the University of York's event on Exploring Neuromarketing. The brain is a fascinating organ. To understand why some marketing is effective and why other marketing efforts fail its aims, it's crucial to better understand human decision making. Since 2012, the NMSBA supports all effort to understand human decision-making in commercial environments. We wish you a delighted and insightful event.
So thank you so much, Carla. I know that you took time out of your recovery to tape this for us so we could play it. You could be an actual and important part of this event. Thank you so much. And as you've heard from Carla, the Neuromarketing Science and Business Association is promoting neuromarketing since 2012. So it is the first global association of neuromarketing business, but also science. However, it's not only the global association that looks after neuromarketing. Now we have strong national and country-based associations, and I have to say that probably the strongest country-based neuromarketing association this moment in the world is the Italian Neuromarketing Association, or as it's called, INEM. We have with us Caterina Garofalo, the president of INEM, the Italian Association of Neuromarketing, to welcome you, to say a few things about neuromarketing. And Carla and Caterina, I really want to know why this big boom of neuromarketing in Italy the last few years. I guess it's part of your work, but I would really like to hear it from you.
Thank you very much, Nikos. Thank you especially for the invitation and to ask to INEM to be partner of the Masters. We are very proud. Thank you very much. And I want to share with you some slides. Because we know that the information from high is the most important, so I want to show you some slide and to give our welcome to neuromarketing. So let me know if you can see the slides. Yes, it's possible. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And I am Caterina Garofalo, president of INEM, Italian Association of Neuromarketing. Small presentation of myself, just a little information. I am also the CEO of SmartBrain. It's a startup that is a neuromarketing technology transfer, and we integrate artificial intelligence to neuromarketing data. And I'm also professor of neuromarketing at the university in Turin, Justo, and in other university, Italian university, and a master all over the world. And I am honored to be the president of INEM, the Italian Association of Neuromarketing, that is founded in 2016 from Francesco Gallucci. He is one of the pioneers of neuromarketing in Italy, and a group of experts and the teacher, professor of the discipline. And we found INEM to promote the neuromarketing in Italy, and we promote the adoption as a new tools for companies, for managers. And what is especially important for us is the centrality of person. This is like a mantra for companies, but when you use neuromarketing, it's not a mantra, it's a reality. Because to put center of the person means to put the center, the brain of the person in the center of your business. So this is a reality with the neuromarketing. And INEM is a think tank. It's formed of 24 coordinators and departments. We have now 80 ambassadors. We support in university and master on neuromarketing, and the point of reference is the place where we talk of neuromarketing in Italy. So we are very proud. We are not so big as NMBCA, as Carla told, but we are very happy because we are very strong. And we invite you to our event that will be held in September 15, 18 in Alghero in Sardinia. This is an event very special because we meet each other and from all over the world, from Europe, from Italy, from everywhere, and we talk about neuromarketing in a beautiful place. It is a natural park in Sardinia. So we invite you from now to join us in September. So what is neuromarketing? This is the contribution that we give to neuromarketing in Italy. It is this manual that we stamped last year, so 1 year old, this manual. And we talk about neuromarketing as an integrated discipline. It's like an hybrid discipline because we integrate not only neuroscience and marketing, but also on other disciplines like, for example, behavioral economics, cognitive psychology, and behavioral economics and neuroeconomy, and philosophy of mind, and the cultural anthropology and design. So it's a really hybrid discipline that we think that it will be the future of marketing. It's the real future of marketing. And we can do it thanks to new metrics that are biometrics and neurometrics that we use many different biomedical technologies like electroencephalogram, fMRI, eye tracking, GSR. So we can get many more information about the traditional marketing or the explicit answer from the marketing. And I want to tell just something about the paradigm shift that we are living and how neuromarketing can help to understand better this paradigm. But as told before, pandemic it has been a great event, and we know that everything is changing from this point. And so we see that society is changing and also consumers are changing. And why should not marketing also change? This is the question. And it's important because marketing should pay more closer attention to the clients, especially to their brain from now. And we can understand in advance which product or services to propose to the market and which ones will really appeal to clients. So the objective is to obtain the trust of the people and to be predictive about the behaviors and decisions of the clients. So let me share with you about six basic insights from neuromarketing. This is a sort of from our study from 20 years of neuromarketing studies and researches. And so we just compilate a list of 6 basic insights that I can share with you. And the first is very important. So we talk about the strength of the unconscious mind. So we go behind the rationality. We are talking about from Gerald Zaltman that decision making is made from 95% of the unconscious mind, only 5% from rational mind. So this is a very important point. The second is the reality is almost all in our mind. So we know that the brain understand about in a way that we call inference. So all our reality is in our mind, and we can use trigger in and trigger out to put some data, some brain data from this reality. The third point is that we know that attention is a scarce resource. We know from many years, and now what it means? It means that the new market share will be attention share. So we are going to make new metrics that will impact in the market. Fourth point, the brain expects to know and satisfy its wishes and desire. So we are not talking more about needs, but we are talking about wishes and desires. So it's a lower and deep needs from the person. Five points. It's engagement. Engagement, emotional and cognitive engagement. This is the Eldorado of marketing. It will be the next and important metrics that we have to understand. And the sixth, and the last one is simplicity. What means that simplicity is the key to reaching the brain more quickly. That is means to talk in a brain-friendly way. It's a communication, product, service in a brain-friendly way. So welcome to the Neuro Re-Evolution, and thank you for this moment.
Katarina, thank you so much, both for the welcoming, for being a partner of this event with INEM and of our MSc Neuromarketing, and for these fantastic talking points that you gave us for the rest of the event today. I think we will touch upon many of these very important issues you highlighted. And congratulations for the great work you have done for the proliferation of neuromarketing in Italy and beyond. Now, our first keynote speech is by Dr. Matt Johnson. Thank you. I'm very excited to welcome Matt. Matt is a neuromarketing professor at Hull International Business School. He's the author of the most range, one of the best, and as I usually introduce it, the best neuromarketing book of the last few years. It's also a textbook for our students in the MSc Neuromarketing, and just very fresh out of the press, right, Matt? His latest book, Branding That Means Business, Building Enduring Bonds Between Brands, Consumers, and Markets, which, as he told me, has a lot of social neuroscience and the neuroscience and psychology of relations and building bonds with brands. So I can't wait, Matt, to read the new book as well. So Matt, the floor is yours.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's truly amazing, honestly, to see the growth in neuromarketing, the excitement of neuromarketing just continue, and it's really stellar to continue to be a part of it. So as Nikos mentioned, my name is Dr. Matt Johnson. I am the author of the consumer psychology book Blindside. I'm the co-founder of the neuromarketing firm Pop Neuro. And I'm really excited to chat with you today about consumer behavior, the future of neuromarketing, and specifically a particular trend which is shaping the modern consumer, which is shaping markets, in which I think neuromarketing is especially well placed to understand and address. And so to kick things off, the future of neuromarketing is blank. And so reasonably, we could have a number of pretty exceptional candidates here, and none of them would be wrong, right? So we could say the future of neuromarketing is exciting, definitely. The future of neuromarketing is interdisciplinary. As Katarina mentioned, we borrow insights. We assimilate insights from philosophy and design, behavioral economics. It really is a very interdisciplinary field. We could also say the future of neuromarketing is democratized. It's very exciting to see these tools of neuroimaging become more and more accessible, such that we're able to collect data which is much more ecologically valid. It actually reflects the shopping and buying behavior of real world scenarios. But what I'm going for here is this. The future of neuromarketing is deeply social. So what do I mean by deeply social? So of course, we've known in the field of social psychology that the people in our immediate environment have a massive impact on our behaviors. We've known about that in the sciences for, again, centuries. We've known about this in consumer psychology for at least a few decades, right? So Robert Cialdini's amazing influence was very, very influential, no pun intended. And these insights about social persuasion techniques have been well assimilated into sales and marketing. But what I'm talking about here isn't just the social impact that people have on behavior, but kind of a deeper social influence, which is upstream from this, which influences not just behavior, but also attention, metacognition, and ultimately our desires. It actually influences what we want. And so you might be thinking at this stage, what the heck is this guy talking about? What is this deeper social influence? How is neuromarketing going to understand and address this? And so I want to give a specific concrete example. And I think the perfect person to introduce this is this person. This is Mike Merrill. And so by most accounts, Mike Merrill is a pretty normal person. So he is a business person. He's a huge fan of capitalism. He lives in Los Angeles, California. And in 2001, Mike Merrill went public. And so when a founder goes public, this is a huge cause for celebration, time to get the champagne out. For Mike Merrill, though, this meant something very different. So in the early 2000s, Mike Merrill himself went public. He became the world's first publicly traded person. He sold off 100,000 shares of himself at an initial price of $1 each. And so just as a public equity, publicly traded company is owned by its shareholders, and they can vote their shares in terms of how the business should navigate the world, so too does Mike vote or allow his shareholders to vote their shares in terms of how he should navigate his life. And so he regularly asks his shareholders these kinds of life questions. So should I cancel my Spotify subscription? Should I become vegan? Should I break up with Susan? So historically, girlfriends unfortunately don't have too strong of a track record with the shareholders of Mike. And this is how he lives his life. And so we can look at the stock price of KMikeEM. You can actually go to kmikeem.com. You can actually pick up shares of Mike Merrill if you'd like. If you see from its trading history, it's at about $5.50 right now. So a decent return if you were an initial investor back in the early days of $1 a share. So his stock price at any given moment reflects the degree to which his shareholders are confident that he is on the right track. So just as there's this price discovery mechanism when it comes to public equities, so too is there a similar discovery mechanism when it comes to how well Mike's life is on the right track. And so you might be thinking to yourself, this is a sort of light bulb moment. What's my IPO price going to be? What's my stock ticker price going to be? But I think, we can sort of think that, generally speaking, Mike Merrill maybe seems a little bit odd to us, right? But he seems odd to everybody except for this man. This is Leon Festinger. And if there was a Mount Rushmore of social psychologists, Leon Festinger would certainly be on it. It's extremely influential in the cognitive domain as well. So if you're going into neuromarketing, no doubt you'll come across the very robust phenomena of cognitive dissonance. This was also Leon Festinger's great insight. But his major insight in the social domain was this: humans are fundamentally driven to understand their true value. So just as we have a drive for hunger, we have a drive for thirst, we have a drive to understand our true value, the drive to understand if our life is on the right track, if we are fulfilling our true potential. And so we can look back at Mike Merrill, and he has a very specific, quantifiable way of addressing this need. So again, you can look at his stock price at any given time, and he gets the overwhelming aggregate confidence of his shareholders that his life is on the right track. His life is sort of veering off. It's going to be reflecting the stock price. He can sort of adjust. He goes to a really great lengths to try and accomplish this basic need. And so most of us probably aren't willing to go to these great lengths. So what's the next best thing? According to Leon Festinger, according to the cumulative wisdom in social psychology, it's this: we all use a social benchmark. And so all of us, for the general questions that Mike would export to his shareholders, what age should I get married? How many friends should I have? How much money should I be earning? There's no manual to these life questions, right? There's no objectively correct age to get married or income to have. And so we feel good or bad about our own choices around these questions with respect to comparison to our social group. And this occurs in a number of different ways in our life. My favorite piece of research which has addressed this is coming out of the lab of Daniel Gilbert at Harvard University. This is the phenomena of positional wealth. So there's this massive debate in the field about the relationship between one's wealth and happiness, and this idea of the Deacon curve that Perhaps after about 70,000 US dollars a year, you have this sort of diminishing set of returns between income earned and happiness gained with each additional $10,000. It's a debate that continues to rage on, but what's very clear is much more indicative of our relationship with income, wealth, and happiness isn't so much absolute wealth or income, but our wealth relative to our social group. So Dan Gilbert's research has found that, for example, if you make $100,000 a year, decent salary, and everyone around you makes the same amount, then you are pretty happy with that. If you make $100,000 a year, and everybody makes 20% more, 25% more, well, it turns out you're not so happy. You have the same amount of money, same exact purchasing power, but relative to the social group, it isn't the same amount, and you feel a little bit worse about it as a result. But if you make 100K and everyone around you makes a little bit less than that, then you are very happy, much more happy than the scenario in which you're making roughly the same amount as everybody else. So at one level, this is nothing new. This is sort of the general phenomena, the general sort of cultural feature of sort of keeping up with the Joneses, especially common in American culture. Traditionally, all of this has been very implicit, sort of this unspoken layer, this sort of unspoken overtures that sort of navigate the social world. But increasingly, via technology, this is becoming much more explicit. And this, I think, is what neuromarketing is especially well poised to understand. That really understanding the modern consumer means understanding this intersection between these fundamental social drives and the technological landscape. So we see this, for example, of course, in social media. So regardless of your social media platform of choice, whether this is Instagram or LinkedIn or Weixin or Facebook, there is social comparison, social benchmarking really baked into every level of the user experience. So if you go on Instagram, for example, and you took a picture of a delicious Sunday brunch and you post on Instagram, and let's say you get 55 likes. Is 55 likes good? Is 55 likes good bad? 55 likes feels pretty good if everyone you're comparing yourself to gets 20 likes. 50 likes doesn't feel so good if you're comparing yourself against people that get 100,000 likes. And clearly this is not just likes and comments and the immediate feedback on content, but there's follower counts, there's connections, there's all sorts of metrics, which again are baked into every level of the user experience. And these are becoming more and more exquisitely catered to this social benchmarking drive. And we also see the emergence of new platforms that really take social benchmarking as its central focus. So BitClout, which some of you may have heard of before, especially fans of cryptocurrency. This came out June of 2021, which is sort of the behavioral terminus of this Mike Merrill philosophy. So if you think, for example, Elon Musk is overrated, you think his public valuation is too high, you can dump your shares of Elon Musk, you can pick up Justin Bieber, or you can pick up Joe Rogan. And so everybody's price on BitClout, again, reflects sort of this public valuation that their life is on the right track, that they are likely to reflect shareholder confidence and acquire more shares and more interest in the future. And there's more and more platforms, again, which have social benchmarking as sort of a crucial element of the platform itself. So coming back to our good friend Mike Merrill, so I think we can look at Mike Merrill and at one perspective, think that his behavior is a bit odd on the surface. But I think when we look a little bit deeper, we can see a bit of ourselves there as well. A bit that increasingly in the consumer world is being laid bare and is being made much more explicit. So it's important to point out as well that this element of social comparison, social benchmarking, is really one of only many elements in this sort of deeper social layer. So it could have easily spoken about group formation, social identity, tribalism, minimal group paradigm. We are social creatures by nature. We have social drives. We are not just individuals that are bouncing off one another, but people impact us not just behaviorally, but very deeply in terms of our attention, our metacognition, our self-valuation, our desires, our aspirations. And I think this is one of the major challenges which we're going to face in the coming future, trying to understand the whole consumer. And so really understanding the modern consumer means understanding this deeper social layer, and especially this interaction with the technological landscape, which as a general trend makes these very sort of implicit tendencies and implicit drives much more explicit. And so harnessing this in an ethical way is going to be crucial, I think, for the future of neuromarketing. So just a few final words here. So I hope that I've impressed upon you this idea that humans don't exist in a vacuum. Of course, as neuromarketers, we have to absolutely understand these individual mental faculties: sensation, perception, learning, memory, judgment, decision-making, cognition. All these are extremely important. But we also have to understand the greater social context. We have to understand the political context. We have to understand the technological landscape and how all of these interact. And to be honest, this is why I love neuromarketing. Neuromarketing is a fundamental, it's fundamentally about understanding people. It's about understanding human nature. So as we go about the market research, we go about collecting data with neuroimaging techniques, fMRI, EEG, eye tracking. We try and understand the consumer. We try and understand and anticipate future consumer behavior. We do all this, of course, as practical implications of all of it. It's extremely valuable to clients to be able to have these deep insights. But as we begin to understand more and more about consumers and markets, we also begin to scratch the surface of human nature as well. We begin to understand a bit about ourselves. So this is why I think neuromarketing is just an extremely exciting field. It is interdisciplinary in nature. It's not just about understanding cognition and decision-making on sort of an individual level, but about broadening the perspective and bringing in sociology, bringing in anthropology, bringing in design and philosophy, all these things which allow us to understand the full person. So absolutely love neuromarketing. It is an absolutely stellar field. I can't talk enough about it. I can't, honestly, if you ask my wife, I can't shut up about it. So I am more than happy to keep in touch about all of these ideas. So as much as I critique social media, I'm human. I spend way too much on social media myself. And I'm happy to connect there. My name is, or my handle rather, is Matt Johnson as me on LinkedIn and on Twitter. And I'm also happy to keep in touch. You can check out my website, my company website, popneuro.com. We host a relatively active blog. We have a newsletter. We do some practitioner-oriented corporate trainings as well. So all my contact information is there, and I'm looking forward to keeping in touch and continuing the conversation. So again, thank you so much for your interest in the field of neuromarketing. It is an absolutely exciting field. I think it really is, for my money, the future of marketing as a whole. And again, looking forward to keeping in touch about these ideas. Thank you.
Matt, thank you so much for this insightful presentation. As a big fan of the social brain theory myself, I enjoyed it thoroughly. So thank you for the insights. Please, all of you out there that you are attending this event, connect with Matt. He's one of the leading spokespeople for neuromarketing in global media. You will see him appearing in documentaries in important media brands all around the world, interviews on TV, etc. So follow him. He always has amazing things to say, and get his books. As you saw from today's presentation, you will learn a lot. I'll learn a lot from them. So thank you so much, Matt. The next keynote, it's by myself, so I will not introduce myself. I did it already in the beginning. I will jump immediately into the materials, because as the title of this event, actually the subtitle of this event says, we mentioned case studies, and actually we saw from Matt a case study of a person, okay, what we call a person. Now, most case studies in neuromarketing, in applying neuro methods in understanding branding. I will show you probably the most famous one, and then I will share with you some ideas about neuromarketing, and then we will immediately move to our panel discussion. So just give me a second to share my slides, and I can immediately jump in. So I hope you can see my presentation. So the case that I would like to share with you is a fundamental a case study I would assume, I would predict in all neuromarketing classes around the world. And it is this case study, the New Coke case. Now, New Coke case study is famous in business studies in general. I would say that it is one of the top 10 MBA case studies in the world. You know, when you go to study MBA, you will learn about what Coke did back in 1985. However, this has also now been studied through neuromarketing, showing amazing insights of why it's absolutely fundamental to use neuro methods in understanding or unlocking consumer decision making. So maybe you have heard about this story. Okay, the story goes like this. In 1985, Coca-Cola company, facing huge stress and pressure from competition from Pepsi, does extensive research to understand why Pepsi is gaining market share in the very valuable teenage category. They found out that it was because of taste. Pepsi tasted better in blindfolded tests, taste tests. So Coca-Cola did extensive research. They found a new recipe. For the first time in 90 years, Coca-Cola decided to change its recipe. First time in 90 years. And when they realized that they found a winning new taste, they tested it in 200,000 people. 200,000 people tried the new improved taste. And in comparison with Pepsi in blindfolded tests. So people did not know which brand they were drinking, but they were absolutely choosing the new recipe. Coca-Cola decided to rebrand its traditional Coca-Cola can in something that it's called New Coke. They launched New Coke, and it was an absolute disaster. It was an absolute disaster. The people started demonstrating on the streets. The company received 400,000 letters from consumers demanding that the old Coke comes back, and people were panicking and stocking old Coke cans and bottles just to make sure they will not run out, because they did not want to accept the new one. Now, please remember, 200,000 people tested the new recipe, and the overwhelming majority in a blindfolded test said this tastes much better than that. But when it launched in the market, it was rejected. After a few months, Coca-Cola accepted defeat. They brought back the old Coke. They even sent a 6-pack to the Association of Old Coca-Cola Drinkers. Consumers even created a consumer association to demand old Coke to come back. Okay, and this is what the then former president of Coca-Cola said. It's a very famous statement. It's a very emotional statement. You can find it on YouTube. He says, the simple fact that all the time and money and skill poured into consumer research on the new Coca-Cola could not measure or reveal the depth of abiding emotional attachment to the original Coca-Cola felt by so many people. And this is something that people in neuromarketing globally mention as a mantra. The mantra of neuromarketing is that our behavior, our emotions, our decision making, they are driven by hidden neural biological processes within the brain with their own agenda. Indeed, with research on the explicit opinions, on your conscious mind, reveals some aspect of this reality, but the big part of this reality, imagine it as an iceberg, okay, the tip and the iceberg below the surface, the unconscious part is where magic happens. And Coca-Cola case proves, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is that in a few years later, actually many years later, in 2004, a study was published by 2 neuroscientists that took 67 individuals. They put them into an fMRI scan. You see this device there in the picture, which is one of the tools used in neuromarketing, okay, in neuromarketing research, to find out what happened in the brain while you were trying Coca-Cola, knowing that it is Coca-Cola or not knowing that it is Coca-Cola. And this is Now you will understand why this is a foundational study, a revolutionary study in neuromarketing. And it's 2004, okay? So it's quite a few years ago. So when they were giving people to try Coca-Cola, they were drinking Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and they didn't know what they were drinking. Or in some other cases, they could see the brand, the reaction of the brain was very different. First of all, in Pepsi, regardless if they were looking at the logo of Pepsi or not looking at the logo of Pepsi while they were trying, it didn't make a big difference. So that's another story for Pepsi to do some soul searching, okay, about the strength of this brand. But let's put Pepsi aside. For Coca-Cola, it had a huge difference. If people were drinking through the straw, Coca-Cola, a refreshment, and they didn't know which refreshment was this, or when they were drinking this refreshment and in a small screen in front of them, the Coca-Cola logo appeared, the brain reacted very differently. When somebody was drinking Coca-Cola just by the straw, the main part of the brain that was speaking and trying to impose its agenda in the polyphony of the different brain parts that want to influence our behavior was, as you see on the left and in the single picture on the very left of these brain scans, it was just the part of the brain that talks about and regulates reward and sensory pleasure. So when you just drink something, the part of the brain, without knowing what you are drinking, the brand, just the part that helps you understand that you enjoy or not enjoy what you're doing, sensory speaking, if you like it, it's on. However, when you drink it, at the same time a logo appears, especially when the logo is from a very strong brand, means Coca-Cola. Then many other parts of the brain wake up and say, no, I will say what will happen. No, this is what I think. No, and then through this polyphony, the brain makes a decision. So when you just drink, it was from this case, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, while when you drink and looking at the Coca-Cola brand, it was much more parts. It was the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, and the midbrain. And if you see what each of these parts do, then you will understand why we need neuromarketing. If you just drink a drink, then one part appears that says, I like it or I don't like it. What happened? They had blindfolded the people and they asked them, do you like this? However, when they looked at the brand within the machine while they were drinking, emotional, social parts that regulate and deal with memory and cognitive control are now on. They are now trying to influence the total brain decision. From the outside, it might look the same. I'm drinking, or I'm drinking with looking something, or not looking something. But when you go in the brain, you have the ability to understand the exact systems within the brain that are influenced by what your customer is experiencing. And there is no other way, fortunately or unfortunately, in revealing this polyphony of brain systems trying to cast their vote unless you are using neurotech. So this case study is used throughout the world studies and the neuromarketing books because it was the first very high-profile study that showed what is happening in the brain in different research methods that we use. And it's something, as I said, that we are not ourselves aware. We have to do it through some kind of scanning. So in order to understand what are these voices, we hear voices, I say, what are these different voices in our brain? We have to scan it. Now, that's why actually we have such a big explosion of neuroscience and brain-related sciences around the world. The Scientific American announced the 21st century as the century of the brain. So we are living now the century of the brain. You see, Harvard Business Review had the special issue, the brain science behind business. Neuroscience and brain science in business, in marketing and branding, is now a mainstream issue. It's not a small niche, obscure issue. European Union, 2013, it launches the Human Brain Project with €500 million. Few months later, Obama comes out and says, no, only Europe, we will also understand the brain first, and it launches the Brain Initiative. More recently, China established the Chinese Brain Project. India, it has its Indian Brain Project. We live how in the previous century we had the race for space. Now we have the race for understanding the brain. Everything is neuro. Everything will be touched and viewed and analyzed and discussed by neuro, law, politics, media, gaming, even wine. And companies all around the world are embracing neuromarketing. Facebook has its own lab. Here you see neuro and the neuromarketing methods used in schools to understand. I think Katarina mentioned brain-friendly, to create brain-friendly curricula and understand why students, how the brains of the students approach STEM issues. This is a big study in Australia. More than 1,000 students are tested, how the in order to make them more appealing to the brain. So when we talk about neuromarketing and neuromethods, it's not only marketing, it's much wider, the application. And of course, you've all heard of Elon Musk and his Neuralink. Even Elon Musk is investing into neurotechnology. So everything is about the brain. Does it work? It absolutely works. We have studies after published studies that the predictability of behavior based on neuromeasurements is quite high. Actually, it's probably the highest we can get. So there are many studies, some of them comparative between different methods, that show that neuro methods indeed predict behavior in a very high and accurate degree. Even at the advertising industry globally, the advertising industry, the industry of advertising agencies around the world was the slowest to embrace neuromarketing. But even them, this is an article from 2019, again, based on a comparative study of different marketing research methods, even the advertising industry now cannot ignore neuromarketing. They actually themselves admit that neuromarketing is something we have to finally accept. We cannot fight it anymore. So to close, almost all of our guests that spoke up to now touched upon the interdisciplinary nature of neuromarketing. Traditionally, and I was one of these people as well, we believed that neuromarketing is only when you have an electroencephalogram, you have a lab, you have the devices, you have to put the devices on the participant, and that's the only thing that it can be called neuromarketing. However, that's not the case. Neuromarketing has become a very inclusive, interdisciplinary field, which has different aspects. One aspect is indeed physical neuromarketing labs, but it's not only that. That's absolutely neuromarketing, but it's not only that. There is now online neuromarketing platforms. You can conduct a neuromarketing study fully online with people sitting at home by utilizing camera and microphone on the device that somebody is using, a laptop, PC, or a phone. So neuromarketing is coming out of the physical hardware devices. Not that the devices are not good and are not needed, but it goes beyond that. And it goes even further, because if you have a lab, you still have a participant. If you have an online neuromarketing platform, you still need a participant, a sample. But now we go beyond a sample and beyond participants. So neuromarketing, artificial intelligence, predictive neuromarketing, as you see here, a tool called Predict by Neurons Inc. Now, based on thousands of people tested, marketeers globally and brand owners can use predictive tools without actually doing any actual study, only by passing their materials through the AI engine to see what probably how the brain will react with these materials. So we have labs, we have online platforms, and we now have artificial intelligence and predictive systems. But not only this, neuromarketing is so open and inclusive that it now also counts as neuromarketing, and I think Katarina also mentioned this, behavioral economics, nudges, and persuasion theory. So a neuromarketeer globally is not the person only that can use an electroencephalogram. That's not the only neuromarketeer. But a neuromarketeer is somebody that can understand, value, design, and execute whatever experiment is needed to find these hidden forces that guide our behavior. So that is what neuromarketing is. It's a lab, it's online, it's AI, and it's behavioral experiments. So there is a big problem in marketing. As you see here, Bruce Rogers, the Chief Insights Officer from Forbes, mentioned a few years ago that transformational CMOs, Chief Marketing Officers, transformational ones, we cannot find them. I believe that after studying 7,500 brains around the world, working with many known brands, many of them that we mentioned even today, and personally writing 2 books on neuroscience, business leadership, and marketing, I can with very high confidence tell you that neuromarketing is the way for marketeers to play their true role. So in the future, all marketeers will be neuromarketeers. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm jumping immediately. I will stop sharing my screen. I will immediately. I would like to invite Maya. Maya is the marketing manager for brand strategy and innovation. So we have Magda Kurdaki. Magda is the sites manager at Dixon Southeast Europe. Magda, thank you very much for being here today. The Dixon's brand in Southeast Kotsovolos, this is why you see the K behind Magda. And last but not least, Lyubis, director at OTP Bank. And Lyuba, thank you very much for being with us today. So an eclectic mix of now here talking about, as I said, neuromarketing, but not only marketing research. So we have finance sector with a bank. Okay, we have a tech retail sector, and we have the FMCG sector. So to our discussion, and I would like to jump immediately to our first question, which is the following, and I will state the question, and then we can go. I will ask each one of you to contribute to our conversation. So the first question is on neuromarketing itself. Now, I know that all 3 companies of yours have engaged in the past in neuromarketing studies. In a way or another, and in various aspects of your marketing activities. So I would like to start with you, Maya, if you can hear us. What is the perception of neuromarketing and how you used it? Maya, are you there?
Okay, hello everybody. You can hear me?
I can hear you, Maya.
Okay, thank you. And you can see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, well, hello everybody. I would like to start from 2017 when we first met with Nikos and her fantastic story about brain. At the same time, our internal audit challenged our effectiveness of our ads. Exactly, as a company, we invest millions behind our ads, and simply the question was, are they really effective? You know, if you invest in media, fantastic creativity can double your investments, and that's the key point. Also, bad creativity can bring bad results. Depends on how you invest in media. So you always start from several points, and we realize that neuro can help us on points 2, 3, and 4. So we will see how. What we exactly do in Atlantic Group. We use neuro research and also some ad trackers and brand lift studies to have a holistic picture of our ad effectiveness. So at the very beginning, this was a result of our, how to say, all ads that we have in pool in that moment. So we have a high cognitive load. I think previous speakers mentioned a lot about cognitive load. So we were a bit boring and confusing to people, more than norm. And our emotion and engagement was just below the norm. Of course, we have some TVCs that exceeds the norm. That was okay, but majority of our ads were not so good. That was the first learning. And what is good about neuro is that it's really simple, it's clear, and it's fact. You can discuss it, but it's fact. And on the other side, we really had a great help of Nikos regarding explanation and what is behind the numbers we got. So I just hide the branding of this slide, but if you see the results of the how to say classical ad trackers and neuro, the best performing ads, they are in this left corner. They have also very good results in neuro and very good results in classical ad trackers. So they are the stars. We learned a lot from those studies, and we applied in some, how to say, shorter versions of our ads. And what we noticed in a second wave of our measurement, we have much better results. So we apply what we learned from neuro, and we had much better results. Also, we didn't use it just for our ads, we use it for our key visuals. So we learned a huge lesson, less is more. So sometimes we try to put a lot of messages, a lot of pictures on our key visuals, and it's not good. We see where is the focus and what people simply miss, even though we wanted to tell them. So we cannot say we got a recipe for excellent and breakthrough ads, but we got a lot of do's and don'ts. I will not read them. Just you can have a look on them and see what we really got from our studies. And from that
Maya,
moment,
we
every
cannot
single
see,
year we
Maya,
repeat.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Maya, can you hear
Yes.
me? We cannot see your changing
Yes.
slides. Can you change your slides? We can go because we can only see your first slide.
Unfortunately, I'm changing my slides. I don't know what's going on.
Now we
You
see
have
it.
it on a view?
Now?
We see it. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do you see?
Yes, we see slide number
Do you see
2
anything?
right now.
Oh, something is wrong. Okay, this was the third.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I changed it during my speech, and on my computer everything is okay.
Don't worry at all. We've heard everything. We understood everything. Just continue normally, and we're with you.
Okay, now I will just open these do's and don'ts. Maybe it's the most engaging part of this presentation, just you to see what we found repeating neuro studies every single year. maybe some things looks, how to say, trivial or generic, but it's not like that. We always ask our marketing, okay, if you know it, why you don't apply it? So now, just to bring back to the point, I think neuro studies are really useful for this creative effectiveness, and simply media investments are much effectively done if we know all of this. And the other thing, I think Katerina mentioned that, and I want also to share it with you, is speech about attention. Just a moment. Now I know that I have to go manually to change slides. So really, attention is a very, very, very important thing, and I think we spoke several years ago about golden fish. Now we are golden fish is a golden standard what we have now. So every single day we are almost 300 minutes behind media, and about 84 minutes we are exposed to some ads, just exposed. Then we really watch the ads 9 minutes, and every single day we see about 6,000 ads. At the end of every single day, we know just for 6 of them. We have some clue about them, and of course our goal is to stay among these 6, which is not really easy task. And regarding attention, it was 8 seconds golden fish standard, and now it's 3 up to 5 seconds. So it's really challenging stuff. And regarding neuro, I think it's really helpful tool, especially because you have their cognitive load and engagement, and you can follow what's going on with attention. There is no other or similar tool that can tell you, is it okay or not? And the key question we have exactly is, do we have their attention, the attention of our consumers, of our audience? So that's for this first part.
So thank you so much.
You hear me?
Yes, thank you so much, Maya. These were very important points, and I think that one of the natural questions everybody is asking neuromarketeers, people that apply neuromarketing, is, does it work? Is there evidence? Is there a before and after number? And I think you highlighted quite a lot that in your experience with your brands, indeed, there was a clear before and after. There was a clear, objective, tangible, and measurable impact. So I would like now to go to Magda. Magda, can you tell us your experience, your view, your perception and understanding of neuromarketing and of its...
Of course, Nikos. Good evening to everybody. Okay, can you hear me now? Is it okay? Yeah, okay, good. So good evening, everybody.
Yes.
Nico, first of all, I would like personally and on behalf of Dixon Southeast Europe to thank you for hosting us in this interesting event. Till now, it is really beneficial because I had the chance to listen to the speakers, and I have to admit that I learned more things. So it seems that we will have to do a lot of things in the future, a lot of challenges. So going back to your question about new marketing, it seems that Kotsovolos is a newbie in the segment since we've started in 2020, fortunately, prior to the pandemic and the lockdowns, the social restrictions. The goal was to check some TVCs. As Maya said, even in our case, we wanted to check our ad efficiency. So why is it important for us? Because we are a retail brand, and we have to communicate for many devices under different manufacturers' brand names. We have to address to different people, different needs, different customers' profiles and personas. So it was really important to find a new way to create more impactful advertisements. So what we did, even we met Nikos, fortunately, and he introduced us in the magical world of neuromarketing. I won't present results of the study because as a researcher, I want to explain how beneficial it was for me. And why was that? As I told you, the retail industry is complex, the advertising environment is cluttered, so even the researchers, sometimes with the traditional techniques, were struggling to give the answer, what works better than something else. Anyway, we had two studies checking some TVCs. And to be honest, having the opportunity to check the non-conscious part of our consumer's brain was excellent because we were able to check the TVC per second to understand what is liked, what was disliked, if the engagement was functioning, or whether it was easy or difficult to follow. This information cannot be reached through traditional techniques. So for us, it was really beneficial. As researchers, we were able to provide more impactful insights to our marketeers. But of course, this is not the end. That was just the start. I have to admit that the new challenge for us will be to use neuromarketing for customer experience. And I was really interested on the speak that Matt did about this person. Let me see, the Mike Merrill. An old story. So anyway, for us, it was successful. And right now we feel better because we do tighter targeting.
Okay, perfect. Magda, thank you so much for these initial insights. It's amazing how new technologies, new approaches, new scientific ideas help marketeers to grow, to learn more, understand more, and improve in this eternal path in doing our job better and understanding decision making. So, Luba, coming to you, you represent a bank in the finance sector, and traditionally we were saying, okay, somebody can behave unconsciously or impulsively in the very end of their supermarket journey and grab the chewing gums that they didn't have in their list. But when it comes to a loan, when it comes to mortgages, when it comes to money, oh, then it's everything analytics, everything is consciousness, everything is clear to our mind. But you have used also neuromarketing. So what's your view on the importance of neuromarketing and understanding the financial brain of the customer?
Hi guys, yes, you're completely right. Well, actually, as you know, we were starting one quite important project. We were starting a redesign of our branch. We are creating new branch concept, and actually we were working with one really professional company from UK, but we wanted to go further, step further, since we knew Nikos from some lectures before. We decided to include neuromarketing in our process of designing new branch concept. It means that we will change the exterior and interior of our branches. It means that we take care about customer journey in the branch, but also we must take into consideration the processes that's going on in the inside of the branch. You know, there is, like, we call that self-service area where you can approach to ATM and finish by yourself, but then you enter further into the branch, and then what's going on over there? You have to wait, you have waiting area, then there is a clerk that you can finish something over the counter. But if you need some advice or something, then you have to go further. So what we did in the early phase of design, before we started implementation of new design, we created photos like 3D renders, and then we did first phase of neuro test. We analyzed those results, and we saw few red flags that we pay attention on in our design. The thing is that after we implement the project itself, we decided to take two branches. In one, we implement like 70% of our idea. It was also budgetly wise, because with 70% of idea, you actually save like 30% of your budget. In the other branch, we implement 100% of our idea. Then why we did it? We did it to see, is it necessary to invest that much in our branch? Then we repeat test with Nikos, but we did it not only in those two new branches, we did it also in one of the branches that was with old concept, without any refurbishing. We did it in that one with 70% implemented idea, and that in 100% implemented idea. And we saw differences. We saw differences in our results. What was interesting, the branch that was implemented with 100% was one of the, Nikos, you can confirm, but it was one of the best results in our industry when it comes to neuromarketing. Why that interesting? Because that company from UK that was working with us on the design, they were really satisfied, because they got confirmation also of their work as designers of the space. They got confirmation that they were working a good job also from this side. But you know, it's not everything about how it looks. After we finished implementation and those branches start working, we were following the sales results. And actually, we can confirm that sales result in that branch that we invested 100% and we did it completely were better in many touch points than it were in the branch where it was 70, and significantly better than in the old concept. We also find out that having a host, for example, a person as a host in the branch, it's very important, because brain does not like uncertainty. Brain likes everything to be, you know, clear. We also learn about positions of some messages that were set inside of the branch. Also, if somebody is sitting, you know, having the number waiting to be called, how that person feels, what happens when the person approaches to our clerk and start conversation about different products. What is also interesting is that we actually, for this purpose, we actually contacted people that already had scheduled meetings in our branch. So they were actually already planned to come and to get some advice regarding, I don't know, cash loan or any other product. So what we did, we put equipment on them. Of course, Nikos did all the calibration, so he excluded all the, I don't know, stress and tremor from participating in this test. And then we measured. We also measured how they use our ATMs. What is really important, for example, we had this signage above ATM saying about some functionalities. Nobody saw that. You know, their focus was immediately on the screen. So it gave us good result that we could actually roll out on other branches, and it also was the confirmation of the new branch concept that we decide to implement, because in the process of deciding what will be the concept, we had different proposals, and with this test we confirmed that the one we decided to go with was the right one. That was our experience. We did some other things later, but I think that this was the most important project, and it became somehow the case in our group.
So thank you, all three of you, for sharing your ideas in the first question. The second question, and I will start now the other way around. So Luba, first with you. If we open up a little bit the conversation, and you see the future of research, of customer insight, especially in finance and banking you are in, and you have experienced neuro, you have experienced a wide variety of tools, and I'm sure you're also considering tools for the future. What do you see as the necessary portfolio of approaches that a marketeer has to have in this sector to go deeper into the behaviors that we're interested in? Where do you see this going in your sector? The research and understanding consumer behavior.
First, just for you to understand banking industry, in the last 20 years, it has been a huge transformation in our industry. What does it mean? 20 years ago, the bank was still like one big monumental building, a bit scary, you know, that you enter and you kind of thinking, will they finance you or something? Then we switch into this personal touch, personal banker, everything is in relationship, you know, that was first transformation. And now that huge building from the beginning and everything inside, all those papers, all those procedures and everything is being packed in the mobile application. So now the main contact is the mobile application. But there is a trick. The trick is that if client use only mobile application, we have to keep that human touch, and we need to understand deeper how he behaves. Why? Because I think we all work in quite similar markets, but only a few really advanced markets are really digital. Most of the markets are kind of omni-channel. It means go digital but keep physical. It means it's some kind of hybrid way of working. And what I want to say, it's becoming complex. You have to be physical, you have to keep that relationship, but at the same time, you have to develop digital tools and to communicate with the client in the same time. For that purpose, it's really, really important to understand what's going on in the client journey, their heads, while they're using either application or visiting our website or coming to our branch. So actually, since the industry is really transforming and it's going on so fast, even faster than clients can onboard on the new products, tools, and everything else. For us, it's a big challenge because we need to simplify all of our products, which are not so simple, and there is a lot of regulation behind. So it's been challenging. We are using all traditional tools and researches, of course, because we have continuity with those researches. But when it comes to user experience, their journey, we need to go a step further. This is where tools that neuromarketing offers really can help to make a difference, to better understand customer, but in this emotional part and this human part that we need to keep, still, because people are not robots. We need to keep this human touch.
So even when it comes to money, we are still human, which is very nice to know.
Believe it or not, yes.
So Magda, Luba mentioned that the client in finance and in banking sometimes cannot even keep up with the changes. I imagine this is even more so in your industry, where at least I have the big problem to understand how the new phone, the new TV, the new laptop that came out last night and the new one is coming in 2 days later has any meaningful differences, or what is the latest new technology that I might have a fear of missing out. So how do you see customer insight and understanding decision-making and behavior in your industry?
Wow, a big discussion. And having heard Harris, he said that we live in a challenging environment. And he said that we had to deal with pandemic, and now with the bad economy and all the energy costs and so on. I would like to focus on the pandemic and what happened to the customer, to the consumer, generally speaking, which is measured globally, that makes the environment even more challenging. And this is why we need extra tools to understand what is happening out there. So for sure, I read the report from Ernst & Young, and I found a very important quote saying that the consumers live on less after the pandemic, consuming better. And this is a great challenge for the brands because we have a more empowered consumer. And that happened especially for Greece because during the pandemic, more and more people got exposed on the online experience. As Luba said, the combination of offline and online. So returning back to the semi-normality, because nobody has already turned back to the full normality, and I don't know if we will meet it again. We're observing a more empowered and stronger consumer with great expectations from the brands. So for retail brands, we have to provide customer excellence in the omnichannel. And I'm talking about the store, I'm talking about website, and even telephone ordering, because we have this channel as well. In comparison to a bank, you should know that with retail, it's not easy to find the customer. The thing that unites us, connects us with the customer, it is just the transaction. It is just a receipt, you know? It's not like the bank that you have all the personal data, or in mobile industry, the telephone industry. So it is even more complicated for us. So having a more empowered and stronger consumer, retail brands need to listen more carefully, listen actively, and we have to act consistently. And why is that? For example, after the pandemic, there is this view that we may do not need that much the store. What is the role of the store? As you said, Yuba, banks were the big monuments, you're totally right, and now it's something else. We have it on our hand. The same thing in Greece. Even for retail, we said, okay, now we have more online people, what should we do? Should we weaken the role? And the reply is, of course, negative. We should change, and this is why I said previously about neuromarketing that we will need it. We should change the role of the store. The store, till now, it was only an exhibitional spot. We should transmit it into experiential place. And for Kotsovolos, I would like to bring two examples, but we have already done. We have launched the service of Scan and Go. You may know it from the FMCG industry. We did it. So right now we have our customers entering our shops. They can select the device, use their mobile handset, scan the QR code, which is all products are labeled now with a QR code, and they can even pay the device without even approaching the cashier. This is a clear example where Kotsovolos listened carefully and got adapted quickly on the new need, the combination of offline-online world. Another service I could bring as an example is the Quick Point. What we did during the lockdowns, we created windows on our stores. So then, and even today, our customers are able to reach the store, not to enter, and outside, in front of a window, either to pay their bill or even to receive the device that they have already e-purchased. So once again, we have the phygital experience. So those are two characteristic examples for the empowered, stronger customer in the new reality after the pandemic. And of course, it is all about digital engagement, as Luba said. We may need a new conference for that, maybe 3 hours talking about digital engagement. But we know that almost 80% of companies globally accelerated their digital strategies till the end of 2021. And the latest but not least change that we are observing as retailers, and it is really important, is related to sustainability. And when I say sustainability, you may think, okay, Magda, this is on the top of the agenda of all companies for many years now, and maybe under a different name like social responsibility. Yeah, okay, but this is not the case. The case is that more and more people, more consumers realize now that their shopping behavior has a direct impact on the environment. And this is really important for brands to understand it. Even for retail brands that we have devices, fortunately in Kotsovolos we have a very strong initiative for many years now, calling people to recycle their devices. We even give them an incentive about that, and this is a very successful program, and we have other initiatives. So if it is to ask me, looking forward, I think that sustainability initiatives will gain the momentum, for sure.
Magda, thank you so much for the insightful answer. Both Luba and Magda mentioned the omni-channel, the importance of omni-channel, where you have to be ever present in all possible touch points between the brand and the customer. Maya, I want to bring you now in the same topic to ask you to share with us your challenges, because Luba, the bank has its own retail network and its own app. The same with Kotsovolos and Dixons, they have their own shops. But your brands need to appear between thousands other brands within supermarkets. And one of the points that you made in your presentation was attention. Going into such a cluttered retail environment with so many options now in all possible categories, how can we attract attention and how can we create engagement? What do you see as the future of the tools that we have as marketeers to understand behavior and to create the behavior we want? Where does this go?
Okay, I think I will be short this time. Just two things to mention. Even though there are a lot of sources of information and a lot of tools, I think we missed deep knowledge and real qualitative insights. So I think in the near future, we need really very good and developed in-depth techniques. For example, empathy interviews that we already use, and neuro. I think empathy interviews in combination with neuro will help us to develop the value of our brands, the equity as total equity. And another thing is also how to say powerful innovation. Less flops and more tops. Really powerful innovation with relevant market share and relevant impact on brand image on top. So I think there is the future, there is the room for growth, in-depth qualitative techniques on one side, and on the other side, neuro. Why neuro? Because it's really simple. It helps us to understanding. It's clear, and it's practical. You apply it and you have better results. I'm so sorry about my slides in the first presentation, but I show what we have in the first waves on our campaign or in our campaigns as the result, and then when we apply our learnings in the next wave, results were much better. That's it.
Thank you so much, Maya, and I'm very excited that you mentioned how simple neuromarketing is, because one of the barriers to embrace neuromarketing is sometimes the complexity of wearing a helmet with many Frankenstein device-looking cables that creates maybe even the fear to some marketers that, hey, what are you asking me now to become a neurologist? But we need to reassure people that neuromarketing is something different. The insights and the results that all this tech The hardware, the software, the predictive is very simple, is very direct, and is very actionable. So thank you for making this point, but also thank you for mentioning empathy. And I think that empathy is the future. And going now to the third question to Magda, because Magda in the previous times, she was in the middle. So we will start with Magda now. Magda, can you please share with us, based on your research and talking about empathy, which is how we deeply understand and connect with our customers, can you share with us some interesting, insightful, even borderline funny, if you want, insights that you can get you gained from your the behavior of your customers in the industry, the few years and the experience you have by utilizing your tools? Where do you see what kind of trends, behavioral trends, do you see? And can you share some interesting ones with us?
You're talking about behavioral trends of our customers, right? Okay. The focus is on technology, Nico. If it is to speak about trends and consumers and people, what we see is this shift, and it's really hard to understand what is the depth of this relationship. I mean, the technology and the consumer. As we said before, both me and Luba and Maya, of course, we see more people using technology and requesting out of this experience to get the best out of it. And the brands has to follow. And we need, let's say, the keys, the weapons to defend on that, to better understand. And I would like to make a short notice on some extra tools we need or we may use, and we do use in Kotsovolos, so as to capture these chains, the technology and the consumer, the empowerment of the consumer, as I said previously. So for us, artificial intelligence is really important in combination with the neuromarketing. And why is that? Because at the end, what is happening out there, every time a consumer, a customer touches us, they leave a footprint, they leave feedback, and we need to grasp, we need to take this feedback, the unsolicited feedback, which could be on a structured or on an unstructured format. So for us, due to this trend, due to the fact that they're more brave, due to the fact that they leave the pace, they give us the feedback, we need to find the way to capture it almost real time, because at the end, if something goes wrong, we need to have the way to react. And I'm talking about bad experience and how we can react, even to create a recovery campaign, whatever it is needed. So for us, this is the trend. We have a lot of touch points. We have a more, let's say, modern consumer, and that will be accelerated in the future as the generations passes. And we need to have all the tools to follow this evolution. So definitely it is technology. Market research should find the way to incorporate new solutions, tech solutions, artificial intelligence, NLP, having the ability to analyze the tones of text or even the calls we are receiving, because you know that there is this technology of diversion speech to text, having richer content from the call centers. So yes, this is the trend. It is technology. It's not only that we are imagining things. It is out there. The impact is on the consumer. But I would like to make a small note here. Since I am in the research industry for more than 20 years now, yes, research, marketeers, business should incorporate technology in their lives. But as Maya said, and I totally agree with her, and as a researcher, I will always defend that we should keep the traditional methodologies in parallel. And I totally agree with Maya because she talked about qualitative techniques. And yes, we need technology. We need to understand the empathy in a more technical way through technology. But in parallel, we need our experts through qualitative techniques, humans to analyze, the whys and how and what is happening out there. So for us, it is the best combination, and for Kotsovolos, both big data solutions, neuromarketing, and traditional techniques, all of them, they're on our research agenda.
Magda, it's fascinating to me that based on what you said, marketing research from an ad hoc methodology, a project with beginning and end, actually is becoming an real time, all the time, all touch points, all methods. So it's extremely dynamic, extremely interdisciplinary and inclusive now. A marketeer, based on what you said, has to use neuro methods of understanding the implicit process of the brain, has to use big data for any behavioral footprint that somebody leaves online in the shop somewhere else. They have to go into deep qualitative methods to drill inside some elements of the human mind. And we have to do this constantly. So thank you for the amazing insight.
Nico,
yes.
Can I please make a small addition on what you've said? And imagine how important it is for a retail brand. Because when we are speaking about empathy, at least we need to provide personalized experience. In order to have the personalized experience, you need data. So, okay, we have the tools to collect them. We have the tools to aggregate it, to aggregate those data, the behavioral data with hard data, what we have in our systems. But I will insist in parallel to have a human to bring all this information further, building stronger empathy. For us, it is really challenging. We are there, and I think we will have a very good success in the future.
This is why, Magda, marketing research is one of the most exciting career paths or positions in marketing. And just before we go further to Luba, I would like to just make a small clarification. When Magda mentioned NLP, it's not the NLP that most people in business associate with. Please, let's leave this NLP aside. She's talking about natural language processing. Okay, not the other NLP. So
and sentiment analysis.
Bravo. So natural language processing is actually a very advanced technique in deriving deep emotional and other data from language, from posts, from reviews, etc., etc. So that is the NLP that neuromarketing is embracing fully, not the other NLP. Okay, so let's go to Luba. Luba, tell us from your side, where do you see the behavior moving? And if you have some anecdotes or examples of these new behavioral trends of customers, clients in your industry.
Well, I mentioned that when in previous speech that we were changing the branch concept, and one of the findings was that clients like to share table with the bank officer and to share the screen. It's easier for them to understand when bank officer is addressing them and explaining products to share the screen and then imagine when pandemic came and we need to put those barriers in front of the bank officers and not everything we would do, but it changed the game completely because clients were waiting outside of the branch. We were letting them few by few entering inside, completely different process with the mask and everything. And then you can sit in front the desk, but not anymore beside the bank office. Then you need to go on the other side and go behind this plastic barrier. Magda talk about the pandemic and what pandemic brought. In our industry, pandemic brought also huge number of clients starting using digital products. It was a game changer and it boost this category a lot, e-banking and m-banking a lot. It's also changed our behavior because in the first period we were calling our clients not to sell them anything, just to ask them if they're okay, and we had this kind of care campaign, just to talk with them and to see if they need anything, because some of them might lost their cards or PIN numbers for the cards, and we were trying, to make sure that they can use their own products of the bank. What is interesting in the bank is that actually the standard and the expectation of customer is more determined by other industries. For example, if you have very good application for traveling, whatever the application it is, simple one, and it's you are looking some exotic destination, picking photos, enjoying everything, you have a great experience. Somehow clients expect to have the same experience when they're using our application. Our application is a bit more complex because we have money numbers, we have transactions, we have send money to someone, pay bills and stuff like that, take a cash loan or something. So our biggest challenge actually is to follow those advanced, I would say, customer application by customer experience, and try to be in line with those expectations. There are many anecdotes in our industry. For example, probably no market pensioners do not like to use ATMs, since they prefer to enter the branch and wait in the queue. And it's true. I personally spoke with many of them in the queue, and the reason is for them it's a kind of chance to speak with other pensioners, to speak with the bank officers. For them, it's kind of time for spending time with the friends, or not friends but other people. They prefer that more than taking their cards and taking money on ATM. And for us, we would prefer people more to use the ATM, for example, not to enter the branch for those kind of transactions that can be done out of branch. So yeah, the biggest change is that the digitalization, but also the biggest challenge for us, it's what Maya was mentioning, this attention span and this goldfish standard. I think for us that are in advertising, this is one of the biggest challenges. I think that in Serbia, average time spent in front of TV is over 5 hours. What Maya mentioned, 600 minutes. I think it's in front of all other media, but in front of TV, it's very high result, and it's stable for years, back in the years. It doesn't change much going back to, I thought maybe if I look different segment of the age groups, it will change. Of course, it changed a bit. Most of the biggest spend is among pensioners, but the others are not so better. Even the guys from 30 until 40, they're like over 4 hours in front of TV. Of course, there is a second screen. While you're watching TV, you have your phone in your hand, but the attention, although you are spending so much time in front of media, your attention, it's really spread around, and you know that every week there is some other breaking news, and even the biggest news are not even so big, because even global or local news are just changing our life constantly. So for me, the biggest challenge is that attention, and how to reach customer, how to get them. And I think that emotion is really important over there, because we need to target their emotions and try to reach that empathy, and then to start conversation with them.
So Luba, it's amazing to me that all of you, and especially as you highlighted now, there are two different worlds that we have somehow to make work together. It's the work of technology, the world of technology, the big data, Magda said, the attention and how media interact with our attention. It's all these omni-channel options we have. And as businesses, both in terms of cost efficiency, but also effectiveness, we are very much obliged to find the best way. But on the other hand, we have people. which indeed sometimes use of technology help them have an easier and faster experience. For example, maybe not waiting in the lines in the bank, but on the other hand, their brain is social, as Matt told us today. We appreciate and we not only like, we thrive on human connectivity. We thrive in bonding with people. We thrive in our relations. And these are the two sides of the coin that we need to somehow try to work together. So Maya, back to you. So what are the big trends and the interesting behavioral patterns that you see in FMCG today and in the near future?
Okay, I'm on mute now. I will share just one thing with you again, even though sharing is not on my side today. Listening to all of you, I will use the example of TV, how it was before and how it is now to get pace with digital. So it was one way, now it's in again. It was one way passive and static. Now it's conversation, it's participation and dynamic. So it brings us to sustainable attention. Nicolas, you mentioned previously that based on what Magda said, it's almost every single day that interaction and conversation and research, and it brings us all those attention span and how to say continuation and human touch to technology. It brings us to one single form. It's active co-creation. We have to co-create continuously with our audience, with our consumers, customers, partners to get the value. So that's the key point. The world will become not fully digital, but there is a saying it's a digital. It's a combination of physical and digital. So that's how I see the future or near future.
Fantastic. Co-creation is indeed a very powerful role. Now, because we are running out of time and we will close the panel, I would just like to ask you to share one word, in one word if you can, what fascinates you about the human brain. If you want to learn more about one function of the human brain, related to profession or not, to profession, maybe to your personal life, what would be it? What would you like to learn more about the human brain? Let's finish like we started. Maya, you go first. If you have one word about the human brain that fascinates you and want to learn more, what would be? What it would be?
About user experience. It's not one word, but
it's one concept. Thank you, Magda. Let's go to Magda.
Yes.
Magda, what would be the one thing that you would like to learn more in depth about the human brain?
It is obvious, and I will say what Maya said. I would say customer experience. That's it.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Let's see if we have 3 out of 3 or we have the odd one out with you. What would be the one thing that you would like to learn more about the human brain?
I would say subconscious, because it helps understand what is not obvious.
Fantastic. I think we have a great collection of ideas. Thank you all so much. I'm talking about the panelists. Maya, Magda, Luba, thank you so much. The discussion was, to me, fascinating. I've learned a lot, although I know you for a long time and we work together. It's always a pleasure. And I really hope, and I'm certain that attendees also enjoyed it and learned a lot. So thank you so much for being here today and sharing all these wonderful ideas with us.
Our pleasure, Nico. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nikos.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you to all three. So closing the event slowly, I would like to, we got a few questions online because as you know, we shared the email in which you could send some questions. So I will cover 2 questions. I don't have the time to go through all the questions, but at least to address 2 questions. The first is an interesting question. I think we covered it a little bit, but it's worth mentioning. So the first question I would like to address is, neuromarketing is a fairly new subject to the business world. Do you think that in the upcoming decade, it will be subject to a fast-paced growth? Absolutely. We already see a boom, not only in companies, agencies, and professionals offering such services to brands globally, but also to the technology. So not only the people offering such services are now more than ever, but also the solutions and the methods and the ways by which we try to explore the unconscious, as Liuba said, and to combine it with what we know from the conscious is increasing more than ever. And you know very well that innovation in an industry does not only depend on the demand, depends also on the supply. And the more the supply can bring amazing things in the market, demand can be created, co-created, as Maya said as well. So yes, indeed, we experience a boom of various now methods, not just a lab. Lab is there or will always be there, but in other ways by which we can explore the unconscious. And the second question that I would like, I have the time to address, and I find it very interesting. It says, what potential do you see for neuromarketing in the non-governmental or non-profit sector? Which areas of practical applications could be useful? Now, I'm a very big supporter of understanding decision-making, unconscious processing, and behaviors in the non-strictly for-profit sector. Actually, one of my team's most awarded and most known project is a project we did with UNICEF on psychological violence. You can find it online. If you put UNICEF, it was in Ukraine, which unfortunately now is devastated because of the war, and we all wish for peace very soon. So if you search for Ukraine, UNICEF, talk against violence, you can find our neuro study, which has been multiple awarded globally, because in the end of the day, as you saw from this slide from Neuro Everything, the brain is what happens between a stimulus and a response. All our thoughts, all our dreams, all our wishes, all our fears, all our intentionalities, all our relationships, all our loyalties, all our enemies, all our wishes for product and services, but for meaning and purpose in life, is happening between what the brain does between, and not only the brain is not alone, it has a body as well. So the brain and the body, what they do as a system between something that we're exposed to and what we respond based on that. So neuromarketing is one of the application fields. And this is why it's a wonderful career move to study neuromarketing. Because what you study, the tools, the methods, the theories, the lab, the platforms, the AI, is not only going to be applied in for-profit, which by itself is a huge industry, which increases year by year, but you can apply it everywhere in life. You can apply it in non-profit, you can apply it in politics, big discussion. You can apply it in the creation of art. Do you know that museums now hire neuroscientists to design the museum experience, because also we talked about customer experience. So every organization sooner or later will have a neuromarketeer or an applied neuroscience in residence, as it's already started happening. So a big thanks to all of you, a big thanks to our guests and to our contributors and speakers, a big thanks to the institutions that supported us. You can see them here on the side of the slide. Thank you so much for supporting our event. A big thanks to the City College, University of Europe campus team, that because what you saw today is absolutely teamwork, that you saw this event coming and being broadcasted to you. And of course, a big thanks to you that took the time to register, to come online, and to attend this event. So just to close, for closing, I would like to say that the future is neuro. The future is neuro. And in the future, every business, every organization, every institution will embrace neuroscience. So take care of your brain, take care of the brains of those closest to you, and see you soon in the next event of ours. Angeliki, would you like to say something for closing?
Nico, thank you. Thank you all for joining. And as you said, hopefully a new event will come soon, and see you then.
Watch this space. See you, everybody. Bye-bye.